On the morning of August 6th, the city of Lakewood woke up to a crime that no one expected. At 6:48 a.m., police received a call from a woman screaming for help. She said she had found her sister lying on the kitchen floor, unresponsive. When officers arrived, they found 29-year-old Rachel Moore dead inside her apartment. There was no sign of forced entry. The door was locked from the inside. Rachel lived alone. She worked as a school counselor and was known for her calm nature and routine lifestyle. She had no criminal history, no known enemies, and no recent conflicts reported. The apartment was neat. No drawers were open. No valuables were missing. But Rachel had been stabbed 3 times in the chest. The weapon was not found. Investigators immediately knew this was not a random attack. Rachel's phone was on the kitchen counter. The screen showed an unread message sent at 11:17 p.m. the night before. "I'm outside." That message became the starting point of the investigation. Neighbors were questioned. One neighbor reported hearing voices late at night, but couldn't make out words. Another said they heard the apartment door close quietly around midnight. Security cameras in the building hallway showed only one person entering Rachel's apartment that night. Her ex-boyfriend, Daniel Hayes. They had broken up 3 months earlier. Daniel told police he had not seen Rachel in weeks. He claimed the footage must be old, but phone records showed his phone had connected to the building's Wi-Fi at 11:14 p.m. Rachel had let him in, which meant she trusted him. That detail changed everything. As detectives dug deeper, they learned that Rachel had recently filed a complaint against Daniel for harassment. She had told friends she felt unsafe but didn't think he would hurt her. Her final mistake was opening the door. By the end of the first day, police believed they knew who was responsible. But knowing was not enough. They needed proof. After the apartment was sealed, detectives began reconstructing Rachel Moore's final hours. They started with her phone. Text messages showed that Rachel had been arguing with Daniel for days. She had asked him to stop contacting her. He refused. At 10:58 p.m., Rachel sent one final message to a friend. "If he comes tonight, I don't know what I'll do." 19 minutes later, Daniel texted her, "I'm outside." Rachel never replied, but the door was opened. Investigators examined the kitchen closely. Blood spatter analysis suggested Rachel was attacked near the counter. There were no signs of a struggle beyond that area. This meant the confrontation was brief. Personal. The medical examiner confirmed that the wounds were deep and deliberate. This was not panic. It was rage. Police then interviewed Daniel Hayes. He said he went to Rachel's apartment, but claimed she never opened the door. He said he left after waiting a few minutes. But hallway footage showed him entering and leaving nearly 40 minutes later. When confronted, Daniel changed his story. He said they talked. He said they argued. He said he left while she was still alive. Phone location data contradicted him again. His phone stopped moving at 11:20 p.m. and didn't leave the building until just after midnight. Investigators also discovered scratches on Daniel's forearm during the interview. He claimed they came from his cat. Rachel didn't own a cat. The evidence was closing in. But one crucial thing was still missing: the knife. Without the weapon, the case was not complete. And Daniel knew it. The break in the case came from an unexpected place. A building maintenance worker contacted police 2 days after the murder. He reported finding a knife wrapped in plastic inside a trash container in the basement storage area. It had not been there before. Forensic testing confirmed it was the murder weapon. Rachel Moore's blood was on the blade. Daniel Hayes' fingerprints were on the handle. When detectives confronted Daniel with this evidence, he did not speak for several minutes. Then he asked for a lawyer. Police moved quickly. Daniel was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. During a search of his apartment, investigators found more disturbing evidence. Rachel's name was written multiple times in a notebook, alongside phrases like "she will listen" and "she can't ignore me." Digital experts recovered deleted searches from Daniel's phone. How to make someone stay? How long does stabbing take to kill? Friends of Rachel testified that she had been scared in the days before her death. She had considered staying with her sister, but didn't want to cause worry. The prosecutor now had a clear narrative. This was not a crime of opportunity. It was control. But Daniel continued to deny the murder. He claimed the knife had been planted. He said the scratches were unrelated. He He said the messages were taken out of context. Still, the evidence was overwhelming. The case was ready for court. The trial began 6 months after Rachel Moore's death. The courtroom was quiet as prosecutors laid out the timeline. They showed the jury the messages Rachel had sent, the hallway footage, and the phone data that placed Daniel Hayes inside the apartment for 40 minutes. Forensic experts explained how the knife wounds were consistent with the weapon found in the basement. The angle and force matched perfectly. The defense argued that Daniel had gone to the apartment only to talk. They claimed someone else could have entered later. They questioned the reliability of the hallway camera and suggested the knife was planted. But then Rachel's sister took the stand. Her voice shook as she read Rachel's final text messages aloud. She described how Rachel had been living in fear, how she had changed her routines, how she had stopped answering her phone at night. The medical examiner testified next. Rachel died within minutes. There was no chance for escape, no chance to call for help. Daniel did not look at the jury. When his former co-workers testified about his obsessive behavior after the breakup, the picture became clear. He had not accepted rejection. The prosecution ended with one simple statement. She opened the door because she trusted him. He used that trust to kill her. The courtroom fell silent. The jury was sent to deliberate. The jury deliberated for less than 5 hours. When they returned to the courtroom, Daniel Hayes stood without emotion. The foreperson read the verdict slowly. Guilty. There was no reaction from Daniel. No denial. No apology. During sentencing, the judge described the crime as deliberate and driven by control and obsession. He spoke directly to Daniel, stating that Rachel Moore had trusted him with her safety, and he had chosen violence instead. Daniel Hayes was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 30 years. Rachel's family addressed the court briefly. They spoke of her kindness, her dedication to helping children, and the future that had been taken from her. Outside the courthouse, reporters asked whether justice had been served. Rachel's sister answered quietly, "We can breathe again. That's all." The apartment where the murder occurred was eventually emptied. New tenants moved in. The building returned to its routine. But Rachel Moore's story remained a reminder that some of the most shocking crimes are not committed by strangers. They are committed by people we once trusted. Behind closed doors,